Is Bryce Young cooked? In the words of CBS announcer Tony Romo, I don't know, Jim. No, but seriously, the whole Bryce Young situation in Carolina has been kind of crazy, and it got exemplified today, or yesterday, by Andy Dalton's performance against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, Las Vegas, I'll admit, doesn't have the best defense. They're below average. Max Crosby is a top 10 edge rusher in the league, but he can't carry that defense alone. But what it comes down to isn't more about the defense they're playing, because this Carolina offense wasn't just terrible. It wasn't just a terrible offense. It was quite literally like harmful to Carolina because of how bad Bryce Young was playing, how awful these turnovers were, and what Andy Dalton did yesterday kind of proves that this team really isn't as bad as we thought. I mean, look at the weapons that Carolina has. They have Adam Thielen. Yeah, he's old, but it's still Adam Thielen, some of the most sure hands in the league. Deontay Johnson, who you could say is overrated a little bit from his time in Pittsburgh, but I'd still say is a top 15 wide receiver in the league. And Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders has been a bust of a contract. I'll say that. But Chuba Hubbard went over 100 yards yesterday. And here's a stat which is kind of crazy. Andy Dalton was the first quarterback this NFL season that threw over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in a single game, and he had 0 turnovers. Absurd. And on top of that, he only got sacked twice. He only got sacked twice from an O-line that we all thought was awful. So this, it's hard because I think Bryce Young has a lot of talent. I think 10 years ago, Bryce Young probably wouldn't even have been in the first round, second round, maybe third round type player because he's short. That's pretty much what it comes down to. It's size. He has the talent, I think. He truly does. There's a reason he was number 1 overall. When it comes down to it, I just don't think he should have started this season to begin with. I feel like last season was a mulligan, kind of like a Trevor Lawrence year. Bad head coach, bad situation, just all around an awful team. They got rid of their best player in the trade that they got Bryce Young for. That was DJ Moore, if you're wondering. And they made a lot of significant strides this offseason, obviously trading for Deontay Johnson. Who did they sign on the O-line? I know they signed somebody on the O-line to help out this year. They drafted Xavier Legette. Like, this offense is not too terrible, honestly. You could put pretty much any... I guess my light just went out for a second. You could put any quarterback in this situation, and it would work. I mean, look at what Andy Dalton just did. He carved up, like I said, a below-average Raiders defense. But what it comes down to is the talent on this team. Deontay Johnson had, 122 yards? Yeah, that's crazy. Xavier Legette had a couple big catches. Adam Thielen had a touchdown. He got injured, so praying for the best for him. Hopefully he's fine. This Carolina team is not as bad as we thought. I think Andy Dalton is I wouldn't say the perfect quarterback. He's still, I'd say, below average quarterback. But coming back to it, I still think Bryce Young definitely has talent. But is his future in Carolina? I can't really say. Right now, I don't think Carolina will get more than a 5th-round pick for him because of how awful he's been, how awful he was last season, and been so bad this season. Especially, like a lot of people have made fun of how Will Levis has played this season. Will Levis is giving his team a chance to win, I'd say. I think most of his mistakes are made trying to get that team to win. And you can say that for all quarterbacks. All their mistakes are just trying to get their team to win. When I watched Bryce Young, it didn't seem like he was trying to win. It felt like he just was like a lost puppy, really. I mean, against the Chargers, that play where he was running away from pressure, he had so much time to just throw it away, and he took a sack. He had a good 3 seconds where he could have just thrown the ball away and he took a sack. I mean, to be fair, if that was Will Levis, he would have probably tried to shovel it and it would have got picked off or whatever. But I don't see Bryce Young's future in Carolina so far. I think the trajectory that the Panthers are right now, I can see him getting, a top 5 pick and getting a quarterback this draft. I mean, if we look at the top 3 quarterbacks this draft, it's Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck, and Shedeur Sanders. And all those guys are immeasurably talented, but most of them have some sort of downside to them. Shedeur is extremely athletic, extremely talented, but has an awful attitude. Carson Beck just kind of seems like an Alex Smith type. Really high floor, but we're not really sure what his ceiling is. And Quinn Ewers, I think, has the best ceiling out of all the quarterbacks, but it comes down to his injury history. He's a little bit older. And if you look at the other players this draft with like Cam Ward and Brady Cook, those are 2 guys that I wouldn't doubt we see them getting jumped up into the first round, especially Cam Ward with what the season he's having. And I wouldn't doubt if the Panthers give up on Bryce Young and trade him. And like I said, I don't think Bryce Young has all the talent in the world. I think he'll be able to go to a different team and sit behind another quarterback and get his talent. Is that with Carolina? I'm not sure. I think this is a very smart decision by Dave Canales and the Panthers, though. I think Canales realized that I don't want to be like Frank Reich. I don't want my job to get taken because this young quarterback is not playing up to expectations. I'm going to start the veteran who has nothing to prove. It's Andy Dalton. He has got nothing to prove. His career is pretty much over. I'm going to start him, see what I got there, and we can work back around to Bryce Young. And what we got there is an offensive showcase from the Carolina Panthers, proving that their offense is not awful if Andy Dalton can run it that well. And like I said, I think Andy Dalton is the perfect quarterback for the Panthers right now. He's a cool, calm, collective veteran who knows how the league works, can make the right reads, not very athletic, but he can get out of pressure if needed. And I think it's perfect for Bryce Young to just sit, regain some confidence, continue to get first-team reps in practice, and work on it. I mean, Dave Canales is a quarterback whisperer, I'll be honest. Look what he did with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was completely shattered by, ironically, the Panthers. Kind of rebounded a little bit with the Rams with that one Sunday night or Monday night game. It was a primetime game where he led the Rams back to victory when he got waived and signed with them that year. Look what he did with Baker Mayfield. I mean, Baker was, terrible, and then he got his bag. I think he's going to be in Tampa for a while. So if he can do that with Baker, I think he can for sure do it with Bryce. Because we're just dealing with a young quarterback who is just absolutely shattered confidence-wise. So if the Panthers do stick with Bryce Young, I think it's smart to just keep benching him until either Andy Dalton has an actually awful game, or he gets injured, or the team sees what Bryce is doing in practice, working hard, making all the right reads in practice, and decides, you know what, we weren't going to make the playoffs this year anyways. That's not our goal. We're going to just throw out Bryce for, a quarter or two maybe, and just see what he has against an NFL defense again. And like I said, if that happens and Bryce is still just not developing, not making the right reads, still playing like how he played earlier this season and all last season, that's when it comes down to, I think it's time to get rid of this guy. Let's get some value for him while he's still, the top pick, and let's get a new quarterback. Re-sign Dalton or bring in somebody, I don't know, like Russell Wilson next year, or I wouldn't say Sam Darnold. I think at this point Sam Darnold is going to get a lot more than another 1-year contract, I'll be honest, if he keeps playing like this, and that'll be in a different video. But yeah, I really do like Bryce Young. I think he's a great kid, got a lot of talent. I think it comes down to right now just his confidence level, and I think the Panthers are doing the right thing of benching him, letting Dalton run the show, and hopefully he builds that confidence up and is able to play at an elite level. And I really hope for Panthers fans and for Bryce Young that he's able to stay in Carolina and become a Pro Bowl quarterback and become the first overall pick they planned. But I'm not sure what that's going to be. But that's it for today. I'm going to have a more scripted video coming in the next couple days. But I just wanted to get a video out. It's been about a month. And, yeah, Subscribe. Peace.